Welcome to Volume 3 of the Royal Road to Card Magic. Now if you're doing things right, and you've followed through the previous 2 volumes as you should, you're well on your way to being an expert card magician. Now you're getting into some pretty rough terrain. Some of the material here may be a little tougher than what you've already learned, but persevere. As hard as it may seem at the beginning, trust me, you're going to learn very quickly. And once your hands begin to adapt and you develop the muscle memory, moves like the palm, which you're about to learn in the next chapter, will allow you to perform absolute miracles with a deck of cards. So let's move on to the palm on the Royal Road to Card Magic. The technique you're about to learn is the palm. Hiding anything in your hands is daunting at first, but if you study this chapter well and learn the effects, you'll be palming with confidence in no time. You're about to learn one of the most challenging lessons in the Royal Road to Card Magic, the palm. The idea of the palm is very simple. I'm going to hide cards in my hand. And I have to take these cards from the top of the deck. So we're going to begin with a single top palm. This is where I palm a single card into my hand. To do this, the cards are resting in dealing position. The thumb is going to move to the top of the deck as I approach the deck with the right hand. At the moment, I'm going to keep the right hand over here. The left thumb is going to push outwards this direction, which will angle the card this way. Now I'm going to make a really overstated version of that, like this. So again, you're going to step the card this way with the left thumb. In the book it recommends you press on this corner with your pinky, but we're going to take a lesson from the great Di Vernon and press with the middle finger here instead. So if you press out here, the hand is going to come over and press on that corner. This card is then going to want to pop up into the hand. To do this, I must release pressure with the left thumb. So as I press down here, the card wants to pop up. I'm going to take the thumb and move it to the side of the deck, like so. To here, remove the thumb, back to the side, and I can square the deck like that. So again, I come over, and this card is moved very slightly, like this. Now the card is ready to be palmed. This hand comes down. Pressure is applied here with this part of the right second finger. The card moves up. This thumb is removed to square the pack. That's what it looks like. Again, press up, square, and the card will be palmed. In order to palm the card is taken. At this point, it's flat against the palm. I'm going to apply pressure between my pinky at this corner and the base of my thumb at this corner. So from here, the card is flat. Now I apply pressure here, and what happens is the card naturally falls in line with the shape of my hand. So from here to here. And notice the points. A little bit of pressure. Relax the hand as much as I can, and the card is concealed. So, at full time, the card would be controlled to the top of the deck, palmed, and I'm ready to complete the effect. Like this. Step as small as you can. That's about right. Press up. Put it here. And you're ready. It's important to try and relax not only your hand, but your shoulder and your arm as well. So that once the card is taken, and hand it out, you don't look too suspicious. It's quite easy to stiffen up like this. Also, you might want to pick up a glass and take a drink, but generally relaxing like this will be enough. And that's the basic top palm. Now that you have a card hidden in the hand, it's important that you do not leave this thumb sticking out. This will be the natural reaction to hiding a card the first time you try this. Relax it. Take the thumb and point it towards the middle finger, like so. Don't worry about bending the card. That's why we use good quality cards. They're pretty flexible. Bend it in like this, and your hand will relax a little more. You also want to make sure you bend this in a little more too, so that your hand doesn't appear too square. So that's the card palm this way. Also, when picking up the deck, there's an error in the book. In the illustration, it recommends the deck is held like this, with the thumb underneath and the card palmed like so. Instead of this, hold the back of the deck this way with the right thumb. Hold the outer edge with the left second finger primarily, and the first finger can curl in like this towards the palm. So you can hold the deck this way, which is much more natural. And that's how to hold a card in your palm. Now that you're able to palm one card in the hand, it's time to palm several cards in the hand. Let's imagine it's the 4 aces on top of the deck. Begin with a pinky break underneath these aces. In other words, just the very tip of the pinky is between the aces and the rest of the deck at the inner end. Make sure the front edge is square and the side edge too. So that's your break. To make the palm, I'm going to raise the deck up to fingertips. As I do that, the pinky will go into the break and push upwards. The thumb will then guide the cards up into the palm, like so, and the hand will palm them exactly the same way as it does for a single card. In this case, the right hand does not make this action as it does with the single card to help the cards up. Everything is done in the squaring action. I come here, the thumb is at the left inner edge, the fingers cover the front edge completely. As I come along, I press up and push the cards into the palm. Again, the right hand squeezes between the finger and the base of the thumb to receive the cards, like so. And you complete squaring the deck. Take the deck like this, thumb at the inner end, fingers at the outer end, first finger curled in towards the top, table the deck, and you're ready to begin. Let's imagine you've just controlled a card to the top of the deck. It'll be our blue-backed ace of spades. We're going to palm the card off, perhaps place it in our pocket or place it somewhere else, but we need to know what the card is, so we need to glimpse the card. We're going to use the palm glimpse. To do this, after the shuffle, palm the top card into this hand, and hand the deck out for shuffling by taking the deck this way, like that. So you take the deck and you ask someone to shuffle, and I can clearly see the ace of spades. The deck is taken, like so, and we're ready to begin. It's often argued that returning palmed cards to the deck is more difficult than actually palming them in the first place. Luckily, the Royal Road to Card Magic has an excellent method for doing this. So we have 4 aces palmed in our hand. The deck has been shuffled. We want to return them. To do that, we're going to come over and square the deck. As we do that, the aces will be returned this way. I come over the deck. At the very second I get to this point, I'm going to add these aces to the top and continue squaring. The right index finger will do this on top of the palmed cards. As it does that, I'm going to release pressure at the base of the right thumb, like that, and continue squaring this way. So again, we take the aces, they're in palm, I come over and square. That's at full speed. once again, I come over, the finger goes here, presses downwards as I release and square. In actual fact, the hand does come completely over the deck for a very short second. Like that, here, and here. One more time. Like this. Of course, in slow motion it doesn't look like anything, but at full speed it is completely deceptive. Like so. When performing the palm, as with all sleights, don't look at your hand. Make the palm at the very instant that your hands come together. So what you're trying to emulate is taking the deck, squaring the ends and the sides. So I come over and I square the ends and the sides. During this action, I palm the card. Now if I know what I'm emulating, if I keep practicing that action, it's very easy for me to become accustomed to doing it while I palm. Like so. It's also very important that you retire from the deck naturally. In other words, your hand isn't too stiff as you come away. A good idea is to take the deck and drop it as you come over. That small drop will attract the eye at the very moment that your hand comes away with the palmed card. Okay. Genevieve.
Yes.
I'm going to have you think of a small number. We're going to make it, say your favorite hour is a good way of doing this, okay? So let's imagine you're thinking of 3 o'clock in the morning when you go to bed. And you would look at the third card down. In this case, it's the King of Hearts, but you have to keep that card at its position, okay?
Okay.
So whatever your favorite hour is, note the card at that number, but leave it in place, okay? I'll look away. I'll shuffle these if you like, okay? Ready?
Yes.
Go right ahead.
Okay.
Take your time.
All right.
You done that already?
Yes.
Okay. That was quick. Now, I'm going to go underneath. I'm going to take one card. Like that, okay? There it is. In fact, I'm going to put that in my pocket. You didn't see what that card was, did you?
That
Okay.
one? No.
No, I didn't look at it either. What was the number of your hour?
3.
3. 1, 2, 3, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Is that the card you chose?
No.
No. Well, that's because in my pocket. Your card?
Yes.
King of Diamonds. Like that. Card to pocket from the Royal Road to Card Magic is a very simple effect. Begin by having someone think of their favorite hour. That could be any number between 1 and 12. The reason for that is to keep the number reasonably small. Ask them to remember the card at their number. Now, to do that, you have to instruct them to leave the card in place. So, for instance, if they were to think of the number 3, they would count down, look at the third card, but leave it in place, like so. Let's imagine they think of the number 6, and the card they select will be the Ace of Spades, of course with the blue back. So, the deck is shuffled, handed to them. They remember the card at their number. There it is. It's the Ace of Spades. I now take the deck back and I say, I'm going to try and find your card. Now let's see. Put it under the table very quickly. You can also put it behind your back. When you do that, simply remove the bottom card and come back out like this. Look at the card and put it in your pocket. Now you can put it in your trouser pocket if you're standing, or your jacket pocket, like this. You can also put it on your inside coat pocket too. This goes into your pocket. As soon as you go into your pocket, however, you immediately palm the card. Okay? To do that, pull it up inside the seam so it's against the bottom of your jacket pocket and palm it like so. So you'll have the card palmed when you come back out. So this goes in like this to the pocket. I palm the card and add it to the top of the deck. So once again, into the pocket, grab the card and palm it, like so. Straight out of the pocket, on top of the deck, add the card palmed to the top, and you're ready. What this does is sets their card one extra card down in the deck. So now you can say, what was the number that you thought of? 6. Remember there's an extra card here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's the sixth card. Of course it's not. The sixth card is underneath. Take it, thumb it off, and throw it onto the table. As you do that, you come back like this to naturally square the cards. At this point, palm the top card immediately and drop these cards on top of here. Was that your card? No. Because the card in my pocket, you reach into your pocket with this card, let it fall, take it by the ends, and come out like so. So in your pocket, you let it fall, you grab it like this, and you produce it to show you really did put their card into your pocket. Terry, I'm going to have you select a card.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. You can take pretty much any card that you like. Let me see. Just pull out a block from there that you want. Okay? That's good. And remember that card. Okay. You got it? Put that on top of there. And Justin, you shuffle the cards. Okay. Now, did you see the card?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I believe so.
Ready? Okay. I'm going to do this quick. I'm going to take out 4 cards. Let's see. I'll take this one. I'll take that one. That one. I'll take that one. Feeling good on that one. Nope. That one. And that one. Okay? 4 cards. Now, like I say, I'm going to do this pretty quick. I'm going to show you the cards one at a time. Are you watching?
Yep.
Did you see the card?
Yep.
Okay. All right. That's number 1. Mix them up just a little bit. Okay? That's number 2. Mix them up just a little bit. That's 3. And that's 4. Did you remember where her card was?
It's not in there.
Really?
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
It's in here.
You speak when you're spoken to, Jesse. Point to any one of these cards.
Anyone?
Yep, anyone.
That one.
This one. Okay, and another. That one. So that's 2. Okay. There's 2 left. Point to one of these. Make up your mind. Are you sure you want that
Yes,
one? If you
this
want it,
one.
you have to keep your finger on it. Do you want it, or are you going to switch to this one?
No, I'll take this one.
You sure?
Yes, I'm very difficult.
We noticed. The card definitely wasn't here?
Nope.
No.
What was the card that Terry took?
Jack of diamonds.
Jack of Diamonds. Yeah. Yeah. What's
Can I
that
look?
one? Yeah, check it out. That
Okay.
is Jack of Diamonds. Ooh,
See, that's a good
see?
thing I was difficult.
Now you see it as an excellent plot in card magic. You show the spectators 4 cards, none of which is the card they selected. Afterwards, they pick any one of those 4 only to find it's the card they're thinking of. To do this, the book recommends you use a force that involves a palm. Unfortunately, I feel the force is not practical. It involves you turning your back on the audience, never a good thing if you can avoid it, at least during that particular moment in the trick, and palming a card off and then adding it on as you turn back to the audience and then turn away again. I think we can construct this a little bit better by using any one of the forces from the classic force section. You could use the classic force itself, you could use a one-handed version, or you could use the bottom card force. Bottom card force, you rear jog the card you want to force from the bottom. In this case, it'll be our ace of spades. Pull back on the rest of the deck and have them remove any quantity. You can then show them the ace of spades, drop on top, and allow them to shuffle. Now, of course, you could also have a card freely selected and control it. But by doing it this way, they can shuffle as much as they like, which will be very convincing, particularly when the trick comes to a close. Now, once the deck has been shuffled, you're going to remove 3 cards that contrast with the cards you forced. Now, we chose the ace of spades. So let's take out a red-faced spot card, a red court card, another red spot card. Let's make that one a little smaller, like even a 2 will do, like so. And finally, the selection itself. So we have 3 cards that contrast with the selection and the selection on top. The cards are placed aside. You won't be using those anymore. You're going to show these cards one at a time. To do this, you prepare for a glide. Now the first show is fair, like this. As you show the card, you turn down as if you were going to do a glide and simply remove that card. You don't show it, but you place it towards them. Now if we imagine the spectator is sitting there, we want to place the cards in a row leading away from them. The second card from them will be their selection. You'll see why in a moment. So the first card goes here. Take the next card without showing it and place it on top, like this. You'll see the reason for that in a moment. And now show the face card. Turn down and glide. As you glide, remove the next card and place it here. This, of course, is their selection, which they haven't seen yet. Take the next card, which was the card that you just performed a glide on. Take the next card, place it on top, and show the face card. Now the reason we do this, of course, is to make sure you don't show that card twice. So now you can show apparently a third card, which you place down, and you're showing apparently a fourth card, but in actual fact they've seen this card before. So when you show it, you turn it and lay it down, not too quickly, but don't show it for too long. So show it and lay it down. Ask them if they remember where their card was. They're going to tell you that they didn't see their card at all, in which case you ask them to point to any one of these 4. Psychologically, people will be drawn to this card rather than the one closest to them. When they pick this card, all well and good. Simply place it aside, show these 3, and reveal their card to end. If they don't, you have to use the magician's force. And the magician force works like this. You don't tell them from the beginning what's about to happen. You ask them to select a card, and if it's the card you want them to pick, that's great. If not, you change the procedure slightly, but because they don't know what was coming, they're not aware of that. Point to a card. This one, that's good. And another. So, apparently I was going to have them pick 2 cards all along. That's very important to act that way. Let's say they pick this one. You say, okay, that leaves these 2. Now, since these 2 are here, point to any one. Now, whichever one they point to, I always say, are you sure? And they can change their mind if they like at that point. Let's say they point to this one. I say, are you sure? Yes. In which case, place it beside the other 3. Now it looks like we've isolated this one. If they point to this one, I say, are you sure? If they say yes, I say, okay. And I move this one over here. And again, it looks as if they've isolated this one. If you try this a few times, you'll get the hang of it. It's actually very, very simple. It's called the magician's force or equivoque. Now, once we've isolated our card using the magician's force, turn the other 3 over, like this. Ask them the name of their card, and when they turn this over, they're sure of a big surprise. Okay, you did rather well finding those. Let's see. It's hard to get a better hand than 4 aces. The aces are actually very powerful cards. I'll show you why. Let's see. In actual fact, look, I'll show you. Ace of diamonds, ace of spades, ace of hearts, and the ace of clubs. So I haven't taken any away. That's important. Okay? And I'm going to put the aces into 4 different hands. Okay? Like that. And on top of every pile, I'm going to put 3 cards. Okay? Like that, nice and square. Like this. So it's like we have 4 hands of cards, each one with 1 ace on the bottom. Like that. Fair?
Fair.
Okay. Let's take one of these and just place it over here. Now, let's take these 3. This one goes here. This one goes there like this. And this one will shuffle into the deck. Fair?
Fair enough.
Okay. Now remember what we did. We put an ace down and we put 3 cards on top of each one of the aces. Okay, we only kept one of the hands over here like that. Have I touched that since we moved it over there?
Yeah.
No. Okay, watch. 4 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Nice.
Like that. Nice. Good. Gathering of the Clan. Another classic in card magic is called the Ace Assembly, and this particular version is actually very good. Take 4 aces, we've marked these so you can follow them. And let's imagine that you're at the end of a poker player's picnic, which is an excellent beginning for this trick. Or you simply remove the 4 aces to begin. Holding the deck, secretly get a break underneath the top 2 cards. And pick up the cards one at a time, squaring them against the deck. And as you do that, keep your break, so that when your right hand lifts off the aces, it's actually carried away 2 extra cards as well. A good way to do this is to simply pick up the aces and apparently change your mind and put the deck down for just a second. You secretly have 2 cards underneath the aces. Now, to continue, show the aces one at a time. Ace of spades, ace of hearts, turning them over and placing them underneath the packet. There's no need to hold any breaks here. Ace of diamonds, and the ace of clubs. When you show this card, turn it over and place it on top. Don't place it underneath like you did the other 2. And you'll have an ace, 2 odd cards, and 3 other aces. Drop these on top of the deck, like so. Pick up the deck and deal 4 piles. 1, 2, 3, and 4. With just 1 ace apparently in each pile. Of course, these 2 aren't aces. Only the 2 end cards are actually aces. 2 of them are on top. Now say you're going to place 3 cards on top of each one of the aces. Take 1, 2, and 3. And what to do is when you take the 3rd card is make sure that card is a little closer to you, like this. So, if I apparently take those, I can press down on that card secretly and open up a break at the back, like this. So again, 1, 2, 3, press down, and let that card fall back onto the deck. So I only take 2 cards. 1, 2, 3, square, but I only actually take 2 cards. These go on this pile here. Now take 3 cards again in exactly the same way, but really take the cards. So you have 3. And again. And one last time onto this ace over here. So, what you have are 3 aces here, 1 ace at the bottom of 3 cards here, and 2 piles with 4 cards each, no aces. Begin by picking up this pile and cutting it into the middle, like so. Take this pile, put it on top, and cut that into the middle. And take the very last pile and shuffle, controlling the top stock. And jog a card, shuffle off, hold a break, and shuffle to the break, like so. This means that you have 3 cards and an ace on top of the deck. Now, remember what we did. I put an ace down and I put 3 cards on top of each one of the aces. As I do that, I'm just reversing the top 4 cards before picking them up and putting them on top of the deck. The reason for doing this is just to bring that ace to the top. Now, as I drop those on top and square them, I palm this ace, like so. Now, there's 1 pile left. This should contain 1 ace and 3 odd cards. But after I palm this card and place the deck aside, all I have to do is spread the cards. And as I spread the cards, I release this ace first, like so. And then spread everything this way, like that. So at full speed, I do this. And I slowly turn over to show all 4 aces have gathered in 1 packet. That's called Gathering of the Clan. Take a card. Excellent. Show it to everybody else, not me. Okay. And just return it to the deck. That's fine. Okay. Now you've got a card in the middle of the deck. I'm going to shuffle the cards. Now you would say that was pretty fair, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah? And we'll shuffle again. Now I'm going to find your card. Now I could find it on the table, which is quite impressive, but I can maybe find it in my pocket, which is kind of impressive. Would you like to see the most impressive way to find a card that you've ever seen in your life before?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. You ready? Okay. See if I can actually do this. 1, 2. Oh, I got it.
Nice.
What was your card?
Ace of diamonds.
Thank goodness for that. There you go. That's it.
Good. And it was missed.
Yeah. Spring catch is a highly effective trick for the end of a routine. The reason we use it at the end, of course, is because you don't want to have to pick up all your cards afterwards. To do this, have any card selected and control it to the top. In this case, let's imagine it's the King of Diamonds. So our card is on top. To finish the trick, simply palm the card. Take the deck in the left hand at the ends, like so. And push in with the tips of your fingers, remember there's a card palmed here, so that you can buckle these cards sharply. Once they're buckled, you're effectively going to spring the cards in the same way as you would for the flourish. But instead you're going to spring upwards, reach up and catch a card. Now as soon as you spring, this is what your hand does. Remember it has a card palmed, okay? Like so. As soon as you spring, you come up and you produce the card at fingertips. To do that, this is what happens. I push with my thumb. I keep pushing until it clears the fingers, and I catch it and swivel it around like this. So from here, like that. As soon as the card is ready to be produced, I push like that. This is very easy. Make sure you don't let go of the card, or it'll fly away with all the others. No effect. So, here we go. Push. Catch a card. And that's spring catch. Okay, let's see. Who plays the piano here? You play the piano?
Play a little bit.
Yeah, you play?
Not much.
Perfect. Okay. You ever seen them do this in the piano? They kind of do this with their hands?
Yeah, sure.
You look pretty sure. Try that. Well, do it towards me. Do it towards me.
Okay.
Okay. Doesn't matter what cards we use at all, but let's see. I'm going to take 2 cards and place them like this between these fingers. Pinch them. That's
Okay.
very good. Good. And do the same. Take 2 cards and I'll put them between these fingers. And the same here. Very good. And the same here in between your thumb. Good.
Okay.
All right. Okay, this is very good. Put these here. And here. Excellent. Here. And here. Okay, and if you sit like that for about 10 minutes, let's see. Okay, now you notice that I only put 1 card here. Okay,
Yes.
that's going to be the odd card. So look, 2 cards. Okay, that's an even number. Do you know what an even number is? We'll talk to you afterwards.
Yeah.
Okay, 2 cards, that's even. Okay, 1 each like that. 2 cards is even. Even. Even, even, and even. So we've got 2 even piles, but you're holding the odd card. Okay? Now you tell me, where do you want the odd card to go? Here,
On that pile, yes.
on that pile. So this is going to be the odd pile.
Okay.
Watch. And it goes like that. Okay. Don't do anything. Cards away. So, point to the odd pile. All right. Point to the even pile. Okay. Now do this. Put your shadow just over that hand. That's it. And move your shadow across to here. Did you feel it? I'm talking about the card trick.
Sure.
You don't look too sure. Look. Watch. This was the odd pile. Look. 2 cards is even. 2 cards is even. 2 cards. And 2 cards. Watch. Don't do anything. But now we have 2, 2, 2. And there's your card. Right there. Like that.
That was amazing.
Don't look at me like that. When used properly, the following move can help you produce amazing effects. It's called the backslip. The backslip has fooled more students of card magic than it has their audiences. The reason for this is that students feel confident immediately because it seems to be a very simple move to master. The fact is, it's not. It must be used properly and at the right time. There are a few effects in the Royal Road that do this, but there are many effects that do not, so don't be fooled. The purpose of the move is to take a card from the top and slip it to the middle of the deck, like so. Very simple to do. You open the deck book style with the right hand, opening up the left long edge, hinging it up, keeping the right long edge together, so that the top of the deck ends up resting against these three fingers. These three fingers apply a little bit of pressure, and that card moves to the middle, like so. With a face-up card, it's very clear. Now, making this deceptive is not easy. To do this, raise the deck up like so that these fingers continue to conceal the front edge of the deck, like this. Now, don't raise all the way. That leaves too much space for that card to travel. Instead, raise up to here and take this packet, lifting it out. As you lift it out, the card is retained, like so. So I lift it up from here, straight up the way, and I tilt the packet slightly, bringing that lower edge out towards the left long edge, like this. As I do that, the bottom half of the deck is going to move towards the right, and is going to tilt slightly, like this. Combining these moves slips that card in a more deceptive manner, like that, like this. And again, with a card face up, like that. The backslip as a force is a very poor move. In the Royal Road to Card Magic, you'll find a riffle force, the classic force, the one-handed force, many better ways to force cards than the backslip force. Trust me, it's very unreliable. Let me give you a very quick way of covering the backslip. Here, I tap the deck. I cut where they ask, and I tap the deck. This tapping action covers the slip and gives a reason for doing this. This is the action that you're doing. I want you to take this card, or I'm going to place these cards over here. As I do that, I tap the deck and place them down. That covers the slip completely. If I turn this card over and place it down, it's covered completely. That's the backslip. Erin, think of a number between 5 and 15. You got one?
Okay. Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm going to show you some cards. Remember the card at your number. Okay, so you're the only one who's going to know this card. So I'm trusting you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay. I'm going to put those right back on top like this.
Okay.
Okay, and square them up. I won't change the order of the cards. I won't do anything like that. But if I take the top half of the deck, I know that your card is in here somewhere. Okay? And you know where your card is as well, so you know the number. That's important. Yeah?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Yes. Positive.
Okay. And I just put those down like that. Now, just to make sure, let me riffle the cards. Just look for your card in there somewhere. Did you see your card?
Yep.
Okay, so you know it's there. Good. Now, we're going to count. We're going to keep counting to your number. So to begin with, you have to tell me what your number is. What is it?
The number that I chose?
Yep.
10.
10. So let's count down to the 10th card in your packet and my packet. So that's 1. Give me one card to here. That's 2. That's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now stop. Stop. Okay? So the 10th card is on top of each packet. What was the name of the card you chose?
The Ace of Clubs.
The Ace of Clubs. Turn over your card. That's Ace of Spades. the ace of clubs is on top of my pile. Position number 10.
All right.
Well, all right then, okay. The lightning card is an excellent use of the back slip because it uses it to simply move a card from the top to the middle of the deck. Begin by shuffling the deck and ask someone to think of a number between 1 and 15. Once they have a number in mind, you're going to show them cards one at a time. You're going to show them 15 cards and ask them to think of the card at their number. It's important they remember the card and the number. So these cards are being shuffled. I'm going to show them one at a time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and there's the 8th card. Let's imagine they thought of the number 8. Of course, this just happens to be our blue-backed ace of spades. So they would remember that card. I would continue. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. It's very important that you show that you clearly drop these on top of the deck and don't move a single card. At this point, you don't know what card they're thinking of or where that card is. It's also important to stress that the cards were fairly shuffled. So I say, I know your card is on top here somewhere, and I break off half the deck, ready for the back slip. I know it's here somewhere, but I don't know where it is, and as I say that, I'm going to back slip the top card to the bottom half, which removes one card from the top stack. So I know your card is here somewhere, but I don't know where it is. Now the card is down here. What this does is positions their card one less than they think it is. They believe it's at number 8. It's now at number 7. And we're going to use that in just a second. So I place his packet here and mine here. So I say, we know your card is in here, but let's just check. And I slowly riffle the cards. As I'm doing that, I make sure the cards pop off one at a time. And they should see their card on the face there somewhere. So they know right now that the card is in that packet. An important point of the trick. Okay, let's see. Margaret, take any card that you like. Any card.
one?
Yep, any card.
What
Okay.
do you want me to do with this?
Show it to everybody.
Show it to me.
Look at it yourself.
Look at myself.
Yeah, you do.
Good. Okay, now let me see it. That's good. And let's see. Did you see the card?
Yes.
Okay. Take your card, put it in the middle, like that. Okay. And I'll even shuffle the cards. Can't see fairer than that. Okay. I feel lucky.
Feel lucky.
I feel lucky.
I hope so.
Yeah, I feel lucky. Let's see. Let's play a little game of cards. Now you're the only one who knows your card, apart from everyone else at the table. I didn't look, though. I didn't look, I promise. And let's just give some cards. Let's go for all of them, okay? Now,
We can play war.
oh yeah, you know how to play war? Terrible game. Let's keep going. Actually, I get to win if your card is in my pile. Well, I feel lucky. I feel
What do
lucky.
you
Let's
You got a
20 bucks. You got any money on you?
No. Can you lend me 20 bucks?
I'll tell you what. Let's take these away. I still feel lucky. I still feel lucky. So let's do it again. Deal all cards out again. It's a 50-50 chance, but it's one 50-50 after another, so I still feel lucky.
You're daring me.
Let's go again. Let's see.
It's feeling lucky still.
Okay, let's do it again. Yeah. I feel lucky again.
I feel broke.
Okay. Okay. What was the card?
It was the 8 of spades.
Clubs.
Clubs.
Club.
I'm
See?
glad you guys
See?
touched the card.
Glad you guys are here.
Yeah. Glad I didn't put any money down.
I win.
Oh, darn.
Woohoo! The tantalizer is another one of those tricks that depends on your performance more than it does the method. Now, in this particular case, the Royal Road recommends that you obtain a key card, shuffle it to the top, and in order to place it beside their card, you backslip it to the middle when they replace their card. In my opinion, there's no reason to use the backslip at this point. We've already learned that we can use a key card from the bottom and the undercut to place it directly beside their card. So that's what we're going to do. The cards have been shuffled. Any card is selected. Again, we're going to use our blue back ace of spades as the example. This will be our key card, like so, on the bottom of the deck, the 4 of clubs. It's important that this is a 52-card deck. Okay? The card is selected, noted, and returned to the middle of the deck, placing our key card directly above it. We can also use the undercut shuffle to keep that block together and make sure the key card is directly beside their selection. I'm ready to begin. Take the cards and run through, looking for your key card. As soon as you find the key card, you know the card directly before it is their selection. We've done this before. Now you're going to count to 22, starting on their card. So that's the selection. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. At this point, I'm going to break the cards and cut. And what I usually say is, well, I know your card is in here somewhere. It's just hard to know which one it is. I now know their card is 22 down. And I can use a false overhand shuffle in jogging and then cutting at the in jog to keep that at the 22nd position. So long as I cut below 22, in jog the first, and shuffle off, I know my card is in its original location. Now comes the actual trick. There's nothing in this other than your performance. I like to talk about luck, and I'm going to test my luck right now by dealing the cards into 2 piles. As I do this, because of the position of the card, I'm guaranteed that if I start dealing with the player, the selection is guaranteed to end in my hand. I'm going to continue dealing until the deck is exhausted, like this. So at this point I would say, well, I'm pretty confident that I have your card in my pile, but I won't even look. I won't even look. I'll deal again. And again, I deal my cards into 2 piles, like this. Yet again, I get their card. Once again, I say, yeah, I still feel lucky. And I deal one more time. Always starting with them, dealing my hand second. Yep, I still feel lucky. And I deal again, starting with them. Yep, I still feel lucky. One last time. That leaves me with 1 card. I don't know about you, but I think this is my lucky day. And that's the tantalizer. Okay. Let's have some cards selected. Everybody gets one. You take one. Look at that, remember it. Look at that, remember it. Look at that one. Okay. Look at that one. Justin, you too. You look at that one. Okay. Now remember your cards. Don't forget them. And pass all your cards along until Justin has them all. Okay, Justin, I want you to start mixing those up so I can't tell whose card is which. That's very important. We don't need the cards anymore. And take a crayon. Any crayon. Take a crayon. Another one. So everybody gets a crayon. That's good. Excellent. Now, you keep a hold of that for just a second, would you? Some bits of paper. What I want you to do is to write the name of your card here, tear it off and fold it up into a nice little neat package. And once you've torn off your piece of paper and while you're folding it, pass it to Erin, you do the same, and pass it along, keep passing it along until everybody's written the name of their card, okay? Now, all I'm going to do is take these and put them in here. Like this. That's good. And I'll use this here. Try and make this a little bit fairer. There like that. Okay, fold it up nice and tight. Okay, once you fold it up, put it inside the cup. Okay, that's good. And yours. Very good. Fold it up into a nice small little parcel. And then drop it inside. That's good. Okay. Ready? Good. Terry, take the cup, give it a good shake. Okay. And keep shaking. Now remember we took 5 cards. Pass them along. You shuffle them up, so I don't know whose card is whose. We put them inside the envelope and we sealed them. And they've been there from the beginning.
Stop.
Stop if you want. You ready? Reach inside, take any piece of paper and give it to me. Okay. Okay, who chose the 6 of spades? You. Okay. Take the envelope. Open it up and remove the 6 of spades.
It's not there.
It's not there, let me see. Let me just make sure.
Not there either.
Okay. Definitely not there. Not in the envelope, just make sure. Not in there. That was a free selection. You took any one out of there, right? That was your card. Slowly lift up the hat.
Wow.
And there it is. The 6 of spades. Well done. You can keep the hat.
Not my colour.
Not your color. Under your hat is a very powerful effect that requires a few props before you begin. If you read the book, you'll notice that they suggest you borrow 2 hats. It's pretty hard to do these days. But you can do this with baseball caps if you like. I tend to bring my own hat to the performance. And here it is. Now, in addition to this, you'll require a paper cup, or any kind of cup at all. You'll also need a bunch of crayons. I take 5 because I'm going to have 5 cards selected. You'll see why I do this in a while. The reason I use crayons or something that's easy to write with is they have no tops to take off, they don't have to thumble, they can easily write on the pad. You need a pad of paper and an envelope. To begin, have the deck shuffled and have any 5 cards removed. In this case, we'll just take the top 5 cards of the deck, like so. Now these are removed by 5 different people. Okay, so each person in your audience will take a card. When they take a card, the deck can be placed aside. It's not used anymore. Like so. Now these cards are then mixed up. Each person is asked to remember the card that they selected. These are mixed up and handed to me. As they hand the cards to me, I'm going to hand out the crayons. So each person takes a crayon. I'm also going to hand the pad to the person on the far left, and I'm going to ask them to write the name of the card they selected on the pad, tear off the piece of paper, and fold the paper up and hand the pad along. So each person will have written the name of their card on a piece of paper. They're also asked to fold it into a nice, small little package, like so. Okay? So that's what they do. While they're doing that, I take the cards and I place them in the envelope. Now I place them faces towards me. I don't make a big deal of this. I simply take them and push them in. Now I'm holding the packet like this. Notice that my thumb is on top, my fingers are underneath, but my fingers are drawn right up to that corner. That's because if I were to push with those fingers, my thumb would hold that card in place on the face, and the other cards would move down. One more time, like this. Okay, this is very simple. You're just pulling back the face card like that. Now I do that as I come over to the envelope. So as I come to here, I pull back on that card so that when I put the other cards into the envelope, this card stays on the outside. Now, I'm going to seal the envelope. So I bring this up and I lick and I draw this card down here so that I can seal it there, like that. Okay? So now that that's sealed, this card is running free. Watch. I bring it back to the middle as I turn it over. I take the hat and drop the envelope with the card underneath into the hat. So at this particular moment in time, the card is resting inside the hat. Okay. Now everybody will have a little piece of paper. They'll also be holding the crayons. I let them keep the crayons and drop the pieces of paper into this cup, which we're going to use as a mixing device. I've set this up in advance. I have several pieces of paper. So each one of these has been folded and dropped into the cup, like so. Everything seems pretty fair right up to now, and apart from me stealing a card from the envelope, it has been. This is where we really begin to cheat. 5 cards have been selected. They've been sealed inside an envelope. I don't know who chose what card. Remember, the packet was shuffled before we began. Everything is in here. I now hand it to someone and ask them to shake it up. So shake that up as much as you like. Put your hand on top, shake it up. As he's doing that, I'm going to turn the hat over. So I lift up the envelope and I turn the hat over like this. Of course, the card remains inside the hat, like so. And I stand the envelope up like that to create a nice picture. This looks very fair. I say, keep shaking. Now, at any time you like, reach in and remove any piece of paper, and you can remove it from the top of the cup or right down at the bottom. It's up to you. And give it to me. Now, remember the card I stole was the 9 of spades. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to open up this piece of paper, look at what was written, and say, who chose the 9 of spades? Someone will stand up. I immediately fold this back up again and drop it back in the cup. I never use that again. In actual fact, the piece of paper you gave me said King of Diamonds, but no one ever sees that. I simply say, who chose the 9 of spades? Because I know that's the card I've stolen and placed under the hat. This is where the trick becomes really baffling. Someone stands up, and I ask them to take the envelope. They confirm that it's sealed, and they open it themselves. They reach inside, and they check and find their card is the only card missing. And they themselves lift up the hat to find their card, the 9 of spades. That's called under your hat. At the beginning of the Royal Road, we learned about the overhand shuffle. We've used it extensively up until now, but we're ready to learn a little bit more. Welcome to the overhand shuffle, part 2. The overhand break control is a more advanced way of controlling cards using the overhand shuffle. Let's use our blue-backed ace of spades. Previously, you've in-jogged the card, shuffled off, undercut at the break, and thrown on top, which is fine, but you are apparently only shuffling half the deck, and if people watch long enough, they will begin to notice that this half is not being shuffled. The overhand break control covers this. You shuffle, as before, leaving an in-jogged card above your desired card, and instead of undercutting to the top, you're going to shuffle to that break. So you in-jog, shuffle off, obtain a brake above the in-jog, like this, and begin shuffling again. But you're going to keep shuffling until you reach that brake. Like so. Once again, this time I'll make a wider brake for you to see, and I just keep shuffling. By feel alone, I know the instant that I reach that brake. Like that. So while I'm talking, I can easily shuffle the cards and shuffle straight to that brake, controlling my blue-backed ace of spades. The overhand lift shuffle is yet another advanced way of controlling the top stock with the overhand shuffle. Here, we shuffle the cards like this and bring the original top portion straight back like that. This is how it works. I take a packet from the top, and as I come down here, I immediately re-grab that packet behind, like so. I'm squeezing with the second and third fingers. I come down and I pick up like this. The cards are grabbed against the base of my thumb, this way. So as I come down with the packet, I pick up again like that. Like this. So, packet comes off, and I continue shuffling. Notice that I don't come down and make the packet disappear. Come down, begin shuffling, and continue shuffling until I reach that break. So from the front, it appears as if I never stop shuffling, and the break is maintained. When performing the shuffle, it's important not to break your speed. So just keep shuffling like so until you reach the break. And these cards are controlled perfectly. The overhand lift shuffle can actually be used to force a card. That means we're going to make them take a card that we already know. In this case, it'll be our blue-backed ace of spades. We begin the shuffle, continue picking up that packet at the rear, and we ask them to say stop. At any point the spectator says stop, as we come down to the shuffle, we release that packet and come away, like so. So, pick up the packet, keep shuffling. As soon as they say stop, come down for one last shuffle. Apparently, you don't take any cards, you simply release those cards and come away. So they say stop, and they take that card, which of course is our force card, the ace of spades. The following technique, the spread and break, whilst very simple, is also very important. Sometimes you'll have a card replaced like so onto this packet and replace these cards on top. But it's nicer to be able to spread the cards, open the spread, have a card replaced, and close the spread, controlling that card at all times. To control the card, you have to place this pinky between the two packets, like so. As this goes on top, this pinky enters into the break, and the spread is closed. So like so. Just close the spread. That pinky goes straight in between. Like this. Now I have a pinky break. It's quite large. It doesn't need to be that large. So once I've obtained the break, I'm going to tidy it up. To hold the break properly, square the ends. As you do this, the right thumb takes over the break by pressing like this. The two packets are still separated. At the same time, I'm squaring the deck. I remove my pinky from between the two packets, and I allow the break to close. Once it's closed to about this width, the pinky presses against the side of the deck here. Now the break is allowed to close here and at the front. Only the flesh of the pinky is sticking between these two packets, like so. So you can see the deck is very tidy on all other sides. I'm just holding a tiny break here. And that's how to spread, obtain a break, and hold the break for as long as desired. This second chapter on the overhand shuffle control opens with a refinement on the jog control. Rather than undercut to the jog, we're going to shuffle to the jog. This is much more deceptive. Keen observers will notice with the original control that you are only shuffling half the deck. This gives the appearance of shuffling the whole deck. To do this, let's imagine a card has been returned to the middle of the pack during a shuffle. If I would shuffle, someone would return a card. Let's make it our blue-backed ace of spades. And I would continue shuffling like this. In jog and shuffle off. Now, rather than undercut at that in jog, I'm going to press against it to form a break, like so. I'm going to use that break. Instead of cutting, I'm going to keep shuffling, packet at a time, until I reach the break. As soon as I reach that break, I throw on top. So at speed, I in-jog, shuffle, form a break, and shuffle to the break. It's important, as usual, to do this without looking at the deck. It's also important to make that break as fine as possible, like that, to control that card. Now that we're holding a break above a desired card, in this case our blue-backed ace of spades, we need to control that to the top. To do this, I take the break again with the thumb, just pressing against here, and I release with the pinky. The deck is now held entirely by the right hand. Thumb at the inner end, fingers at the outer end. I'm now going to take the deck and turn it on its edge, like so. This causes the break to open wider as the deck hinges on the right thumb. Watch. Watch this edge. The break widens, like this. That's natural. All that's happening is the flesh of my thumb is digging deeper into the break, causing it to open up just a little bit more. Now, when I turn this on its edge, I want to be careful to make sure it doesn't open too far. So from here, I turn the deck, and I begin shuffling to the break. As soon as I reach the break, I throw on top, and the card is controlled. So, once again, I have my card, okay? I have my break. When I'm ready, I turn the deck, and I shuffle, throw on top, and the control is complete. A couple of points in the overhand shuffle. When shuffling, make sure you keep a constant speed at all times. When you in-jog, make sure you do so at the same speed that you shuffle. So you in-jog and shuffle at exactly the same time. The in-jog shouldn't be too big, just big enough for you to catch and shuffle off. Also, when you take a break from an in-jog, make sure it's just wide enough for you to feel, like so. One other small tip is that when you've in-jogged the card and you take the break, just hinge the deck slightly. That'll create a slightly messed up look. So as you shuffle off, I can still feel the break, but it doesn't look like there's any break being held from the top. Now, okay, let's see. Julie, why don't you help me here? What I'm going to do is have you name a number between 10 and 20. So it's a two-digit number. That's important.
16.
16. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. I'm going to count back. We're going to add the two digits together, which is 6 plus 1 is 7. Not asking you again.
Great.
That's for sure.
Cool.
So 6 plus 1 is 7. So let's take the 7th card. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Like that. And give me another number between 10 and 20.
18.
18. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. Add 1 and 8 together, what do you get?
9.
Well done. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We find another ace. So again, give me a number between 10 10, and 20.
14.
14. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 1 plus 4 is? Well done. 1, 2, 3, 4. We find another ace. You used to work for Intel too. Okay. I'll tell you what, this time we'll just leave it up to chance. We'll cut about here. And whatever that card is, we'll use that value. And that's a 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 9. Like that. And we found the 4 aces. This trick, aptly called obliging aces, is a very effective way of locating 4 aces apparently by chance. Before the trick begins, secretly remove the 4 aces and any 9 spot card. These are placed on top of the deck. On top of these goes the 9. Now, as you shuffle the deck, you must run 8 cards onto this pile and then in-jog. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. In-jog and shuffle off. And now you can cut that to the top, or, if you like, shuffle to the break, like that. So I now know that the 9th card down is the 9, and the other cards are the aces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There's the 9, followed by the 4 aces. So, to perform the trick, shuffle and ask someone to name any number between 10 and 20. 14? Good choice. I deal 14 cards into a pile. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. The deck is placed aside for just a moment. And I say 14 is a good number. Let's make it a smaller number by adding the digits together. That's 1 plus 4, which makes 5. I pick this up and I take the 5th card by dealing onto a pile. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's the 5th card, one of the aces. Goes right there. All of these cards are now dropped on top. You notice the 9 is back on top of the deck. That's okay. Drop everything on top and shuffle again. In-jog, shuffle off, create a break, and shuffle to the break, like so. Ask someone else to name a number between 10 and 20. 12? Good choice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Now in this case, we're going to add 1 and 2 together. That gives the number 3. 1, 2, 3. We take the 3rd card and lay that here. Drop these on top, drop everything on top of the deck, and shuffle again, keeping that stack on top, using the shuffle and the break. Someone else names a number. What did they name? They named 15. Good choice. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Now 1 plus 5 is 6. So we'll take the 6th card. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Drop these on top. Again, the 9 has been returned to the top of the deck. And now we're going to use that 9. Again, I shuffle and I say, well, this time we'll leave it to pure chance. I'll shuffle the cards. And we'll use the top card to find your card. It's a 9. Of course, we've controlled that the whole time. So I'm going to take the 9th card down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Lo and behold, that produces all 4 aces. Like that. There, take a card. Look at it. Show it to everybody if you like. This is a really quick trick. So put your card back here. Okay, remember the card?
Yes.
Okay. Now we know it's in there somewhere. I'm going to cut the cards around about here. I'm going to try and find your card. You ready?
Yes.
Okay. 1, 2, say 3.
3.
3. Is that your card?
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is. Well done.
Very nice.
Leapfrog is a startling revelation of a card that begins on the bottom of the deck. So have a card selected, control it to the bottom, and you're ready to start. We're going to cut the deck. Now, rather than cut the deck this way and bring it on top, we're going to cut the deck like this, holding it from the top this way. This finger is curled on top. It's going to extend to the front and lift up half of the deck. with the tip of the first finger of the right hand. So again, I lift up half the deck. As soon as I lift it up, I'm going to cant it over to the left this way, like that. Okay? Takes a little bit of practice, but as soon as you can do that, you can take that packet straight into the left hand and drop the upper packet on top, stepped forward, like so. That's slightly less than half the length of the cards. Here's the selection. To make the revelation, the first finger of the left hand will extend and pull down on that bottom card, like this. As soon as it has enough pressure, I'm going to release my thumb, second, and third fingers, so this packet will flip forward and face up onto the table. I say face up because if you look at the illustrations in the book, the cards are landing face down. I did try that for a while, and it is possible, but trust me, face up is just as good. This card is going to curl and end up trapped against the bottom of the deck, like so. So again, we cut the deck, forward jog it, pull down, and the card appears, like so. So, how would you like to do a card trick?
Okay.
All right, overflowing with enthusiasm, as I can see. Why don't you ask me to pick a card?
Pick a card. Any card you like.
Okay. Can I shuffle?
Please do.
Okay then. I will. Now it's fair. Okay, Justin, find my card.
Your card was this one.
You don't really know what you're doing, do you, Justin?
Not exactly.
Yeah, I'll help you out. What to do is to think of a number. Just say any number between 10 and 20.
11.
11. Count down 11 cards.
1, 2, 3.
Now my card was the ace of clubs. So why don't you have a little look there?
Whoops.
Well, now you know how it feels, I guess. Yeah. Tell you what, turn it back over. Decent top. Maybe it's best if somebody else says a number. Give him a number between 20 and 30.
21.
21. Okay, deal there. Look at the next card. Still not the ace of clubs. You know you're missing one important factor. Turn the card over. See, the moment of magic is missing. You put these on top. What you really need to do is snap your fingers like this over the deck. Okay. Now there were two numbers. Your number was
21.
and your number was
11.
11. So if you take 21 from 11, what do you get?
8.
You really do work for Intel, don't you? Try again.
3.
Give him another chance.
21 from 11. Let me think about that. Maybe.
Why do you take 11
10?
from 21? 10. Count down 10 cards. Just before you leave.
10.
My card is the ace of clubs. Turn over the next card. There it is. The ace of clubs. You did that one yourself.
Thank
Well
you.
done. Door's over there. Let me show you how some people cheat at cards. And I'm going to show you something that's called the bottom deal. Now the bottom deal, as the name would suggest, is when the cards are on the bottom of the deck and instead of dealing them from the top, you deal to yourself from the bottom, in this case the 4 kings. I'm going to deal some hands. When I get to myself, I'm going to reach under and take a card from the bottom, like that. And again, like this. Now this is obviously easy to see this way, because I'm doing it slowly. But there's actually a more advanced deal called the middle deal. In the middle deal, you just take cards from anywhere in the middle that you like. So let's take the kings and bury them right in the middle like that. Okay? So, if I square up, I'm going to deal again. Watch for the move. You see it? Let's see. Now, if that worked, I should have... what should I have?
4 kings.
I should have 4 kings, but just in case, I went for the 4 aces instead.
All right.
People are often going to say something like, I would hate to play cards with you. And there are many effects in the Royal Road to Card Magic that you can perform immediately after hearing that. This is one of the best ones. Bring the subject up of cheating and how people cheat at cards during a game. And while you're talking, take their deck, or your own deck, run through and remove the 4 kings. As you do that, you're actually going to take the aces as well. Now, the way you get away with this is by not telling them what you're doing. You just run through and find 4 cards, apparently. But you're going to move the aces to the back. As I go through the deck, I'm looking for aces and kings, and there's 2 together. That's easy. I simply slip that ace to the back and place this down. I'm not making a move of this. I just happen to be talking at the same time as I'm doing this. There's another 2 together. That's a coincidence. There's a king here. There's an ace here. At this moment, if people are watching closely, I might gesture for just a second, move it to the back, like so, and then continue. And there's another king, and I think, yeah, that's all the kings. Now, I've broken that at another ace. At that point, I just slip that to the back too, and cut. This isn't a move. Don't expect people to study you and not see this. You just keep talking. They don't know what's about to happen yet. They certainly can't see the marks on the back of these cards. So, just take out the 4 kings and casually take the aces and put them on top at the same time. Show the kings and say, some gamblers use something that's called the bottom deal. The bottom deal is a move where instead of dealing the top card, the bottom card is taken instead, and it looks exactly the same as dealing the top card. Look, I'll show you. I'll put the kings on the bottom. Now we're set up. I have the 4 aces secretly on top of the deck, and I have the 4 kings ready to go in the bottom. You're now going to bottom deal to yourself. Trust me, the bottom deal is one of the most difficult moves to perfect in card magic, but you don't have to perfect it. You've already told them what you're going to do, and you're going to demonstrate. Then you're going to simulate it, and they'll actually think you can do amazing things with cards. So watch. I'm going to deal 5 piles. The last one goes to me. Now, normally I take that top card, but instead I'm going to take the bottom card. So what I do is I simply reach up and I pull out the bottom card from the back of the deck, like this, and put it down. I don't make a move of it. I do it openly. I keep going, dealing myself a king from the bottom each time, like this, until there are 5 cards in each hand. So I deal the 4 kings and an extra card. That's just anything. Now at this point, I can turn over and show how I got the 4 kings. Kind of impressive, but really it's just a demonstration. But we are ready to end with a very strong climax. You can pick up these packets in any order that you like. The only thing is you can't show the face of these packets or they'll see aces each time. Gather them up any way you like. And now I have to do a completely different deal. This deal takes cards from the center of the deck whenever I need them. So, if I want to shuffle, I undercut, but about 20 cards, no more than that, because I don't want to disturb my stack on top of the deck. In jog, shuffle off, open up a break, shuffle to the break, and throw on top. Now I begin dealing. I get an ace. I get another ace. Nothing. That must be the king. Remember I said you could gather them any way that you like. The next one will be an ace, and the next one will be an ace. It's guaranteed so long as you don't disturb the stack when you shuffle. At this point, they expect you to have the 4 kings. What I like to do is cut that king to the face. I look, I check, I cut it to the face. And then casually I say, of course, that leaves me with, they'll say the 4 kings. Say, no, 4 aces and a king kicker. And that's a poker puzzle. Now we're ready to learn some more false shuffles and cuts. Here we'll be retaining the entire deck order while mixing the cards up in novel ways. The optical shuffle is another way of controlling the entire deck using the overhand shuffle. The reason it's called the optical shuffle is when you come down on this side and apparently take some cards, you take no cards at all. And the way it works is I come onto the front side and then the back, like so. So I apparently deposit a packet on the front and then at the back. What really happens is that all the cards are shuffled onto the back, which doesn't disturb the order at all. This is to be done while you're talking to your audience, maybe telling them what's about to happen in the trick. I come down this side and then like this. And the thumb apparently takes cards off but takes nothing. It only takes cards off of the back, like this. Nothing at all on this side. To illustrate, let's turn the top card over, the 8 of spades. So I come down, take nothing, nothing, nothing. Drop off at the back each time, like so. And the entire deck is still in the original order. It's better to be seen from the side as well, like this, while I'm talking. Now the deck is ready to perform with any arrangement that it already has. So the easiest way to explain this is to show you how the deck is shuffled. In actual fact, it's simply cut. And the cuts happen like this. I'm going to take a small packet. Underneath that, I take another small packet. And you see that doesn't disturb the cards at all. I take another one like this. Doesn't disturb the cards. As I keep taking the packets this way, the cards stay in order. To make this deceptive, we do this from the top and the bottom. So, let's turn over the top card. I'm going to take a small packet of cards. Now, underneath the deck, I do this. I put my fingers underneath and I push out. Okay? Just a packet, anything at all. So I push out a packet and I grab that on top. Now I go back to the top and I take another packet, again underneath the original packet, so that hasn't disturbed the order of those cards. Now I go back to the bottom and I push out another packet. These go on top of the original packet I took from the bottom, so I haven't disturbed the order of those cards. Again, I go back to the top and I take another packet underneath, not disturbing the order. I go back underneath, I push out a packet, I take those on top of the cards originally from the bottom without changing their order. Another packet underneath, like so, until the cards are done. At this point, you can repeat the shuffle. I take a packet, some from the bottom, take a packet, some from the bottom, and so on until the deck is back in its original order. In this case, it's easy for me to see because that card is face up. What if the card is not face up? Well, it's simple. The bottom card of the deck is the ace of spades in this case. Before I begin, with my pinky, I pull down on the ace of spades and I make a bend like this. If this is a little difficult, just do it with your thumb to make that bend. Now you perform the shuffle. Like this. You'll now see the bend very clearly here. All I have to do is cut the cards so that bent card goes back to the very bottom of the deck and the deck is in its original order. There's another way to do this without a bend. To do it without a bend, take the first packet and the second packet, step it forward like this. So there's a big step there. Now take the next packet underneath and the next one. Keep that step so you know where it is. And as I go through, I can see clearly where that is. Now I can cut at that point, returning the ace of spades to the bottom. One more little tip. This was given to me by Patrick Page. Patrick Page is one of my favorite magicians, and he fools me more than anybody else when I see him. He's also one of the humblest magicians you'll ever meet. Patrick showed me how to do this. When I take the cards, I pull up with a snap, I take these, I pull down with a snap. So there's a real sound element to it as well, which really helps them concentrate on how convincing this shuffle is. Cut to our break. And that's the Charlier shuffle. False cuts are terribly important in card magic. When playing, poker players or gin players will shuffle and then cut the deck. So when you're shuffling, it's often required that you cut the deck as well to make it look natural. You may want to use a cut during an effect to retain a stack somewhere that you know, or to retain an entire deck stack. The simplest cut I'm going to show you involves an undercut. It works like this. Now, during the course of an explanation of a trick while you're beginning to present a trick to someone, this will fly right by. Most false cuts, in fact most moves in magic, are supposed to be performed during the natural timing of the effect, and you don't want to draw any attention to it. This is one of those examples. You don't want people to see you take that bottom packet and then follow it to the table, only to see the top packet put on top. Instead, you just want them to see that you cut the deck, like this. So I'll usually do this perhaps after a shuffle, pick up the deck and give it a quick cut and continue with the effect. Professional cheats, when playing against gamblers in Las Vegas or private games, if they're going to throw in a false cut, they do so immediately after the shuffle, when a normal player or a dealer would make that cut. You have to take that and use it in magic. Make sure that your timing is correct and nobody will question you. So one more time, take the bottom portion, revolve it around the deck like that, just once. Take it out, revolve it around, straight to the table, and slap that on top. Note that this is not as effective as this, because the real actions that people remember are this and this. Like that. And that's the simplest false cut. The next cut is called the palm cut. Personally, I discourage you from using the palm cut as described in the Royal Road to Card Magic. Let me explain why. First of all, I'll explain what is taught in the Royal Road. The deck is picked up, and the top 4 cards are palmed in the right hand. Now, in this case, I've taken a couple of extra cards, 1 extra card. That doesn't matter. But these cards are palmed in this hand, and the deck is cut by lifting up the upper portion, dropping it on the table. These cards are then added to this pile, like so, and it dropped on top. Now, at speed, once the cards are palmed, it looks fine. However, in order to false cut and retain the top stock, you've already learned better methods than this. To use the palm cut like this involves making a move just before you make a cut, and that's going to attract attention. I wouldn't recommend doing that. You have to pick up, you have to get ready for the palm, you have to palm the cards, and then make the cut, add the cards to the top of this packet, and repeat it simply to retain 5 or 6 cards on top. I can think of very, very few reasons to do this. So, I would advise you to ignore using it this way. However, let's imagine that you already have some cards palmed, and the deck has been returned to you. A very good way to return these cards to the top of the deck is now to cut, add these to the top, like so. You simply add them straight to the top, take the packet, and drop it on top. That's a very good cover for returning cards to the deck. Now that won't work in all tricks, but most of the time, after the deck has been shuffled, that's a very good way of returning palmed cards. Justin, why don't you do the same thing? Think of a number, transfer it from top to bottom.
Okay.
Okay? And keep hold of the cards when you're done.
Okay.
You've done that?
Yep.
The number I'm going to take is 5. Okay? I want you to transfer 5 cards. 4. That's the 5th card. Keep a hold of that. How many did you transfer?
3.
Turn over the card in your hand. It's a 3. Okay, that could be luck. I'll tell you what, I'll do it again. Think of a number between, don't tell me what it is, This time I'll tell you what it is. I'll tell you my number before you even start. Your number, okay. I'm going to use the number 9. So transfer any number that you like. Okay, any number. I'm going to use the number 9. Was that it?
Mm-hmm.
And that was 2. Now remember I said the number 9. So, watch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And you could have transferred any number. I gave you the number before you did, right? And it's 2. Okay, last time. This time, why don't you try it?
Okay.
Transfer any number. I'll look away. Completely away. Okay? Transfer the number. I'm going to keep talking so I can't hear how many you're transferring. Okay? Make sure you remember the number. That's important.
Okay.
You've done that?
Yep.
Pick up the cards. Okay? And begin transferring cards again. Okay?
To any particular number?
Just keep going. Stop. That card in your hand.
Uh-huh.
How many cards did you transfer?
8.
What's that in your hand? It's an 8.
Pretty good.
Just like that. Not bad, huh?
Nope.
The trick, titled An Incomprehensible Divination, is a very baffling effect if you don't know the secret. I first learned this in a book called The Expert at the Card Table by S.W. Ernest. The method presented in Royal Road has a small improvement. The routine is also very, very well constructed. To do this, remove an ace to 10 of the same suit. In this case, I've taken out clubs. I've also taken a joker. That goes on the bottom. So the ace is on the top, the 10 is second from the bottom, and the joker is on the bottom. We've also marked these cards for you so you can see the cards clearly as I present the trick. Now, an important thing to remember here is that the cards are not important, only the numbers. In other words, nobody will select any cards. They're simply going to think of a number, and you're going to reveal that number in a very baffling way. So, to begin, you have the cards in order. You can see they're marked. And we give them a Charlier shuffle, like so. Now the cards are apparently mixed up. Of course, all we've really done is cut the packet. And what we have to know is where to begin. So we begin by instructing them in what they're supposed to do. We tell them to think of a number between 1 and 10 and transfer cards one at a time, not in a block, but one at a time from the top to the bottom, like this. Now in this case, I always transfer 3. I say, let's say you thought of the number 3 and transfer that number of cards. So after you've done your Charlier shuffle, as you square the cards, glimpse the top card. Now what I usually do is just cut like that. If the joker's on top, cut it into the middle and go for another card. In this case, it's the 10, which is fine. Now I know if I say, let's imagine you thought of the number 3. You count 3. 1, 2, 3. Now because I had a 10, I know that the 2 will be the new top card of the deck. It's simple. There was the 10, the joker, then there would be the ace. They've all been transferred to the bottom. The next card would be the 2. Of course, you could glimpse that card now, but that would be the wrong time. Now you secretly know the top card of the packet. So the number is 2. I hand the packet to them, and I turn away while they move cards one at a time from the top to the bottom. If you're sitting at a table like I am now, you might want to have them put their hands underneath the table, which is another way. It's better to look away, though. It's more impressive. So I know the number 2 is on top. They're going to transfer any number from top to bottom. Now, of course, I don't use marked cards normally, so how do I know the number that they move? Well, while they're moving cards, I make a very simple calculation. I take the value I know is on top of the packet, and I take it away from 12. In this case, 2 from 12 leaves 10. That's my key number. That's all I need to know. Now, they can move anything. Let's imagine they move the number 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. And return the packet to me. Now, I don't need to look at any cards. All I need to remember is that my number was 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And that's the 10th card there. I cut the 10th card to the top. So I run through quickly and cut that 10th card to the top. I count as quickly as I can. I don't want to look like I'm counting. I just cut it. Say, okay, I've cut a card to the top. What number did you think of? Whatever number they say, turn over the top card and it will match the number that they gave you. That's the first sequence. The entire trick works that way, but it's how it's constructed that's impressive. I know a 6 is on top now. I take that away from 12 and it gives me 6. So my key number is now 6. So I give them the cards and I turn away again. And again they transfer any number. Let's say it's 3. 1, 2, 3. While my back is still turned, I say, okay, I'm going to say the number 6 before I even see the cards. I turn round and I say, watch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's the 6th card. The number they turned over was 3. And that's the 3. So that's the second phase. We're going to do exactly the same thing again, but we make it more impressive this time by saying, look, I'll give you the number before we even begin. Now remember, the number on top should be a 3. I accidentally put it on the bottom, but you can do that too if you want to use a new one. In this case, we'll keep the 3, and I'll take that away from 12 in my mind. That's 9. So I say, I'll tell you the number before you even begin. My number will be 9. You can transfer any number you like. Let's say they transfer 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now, I simply transfer 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's the 9th card. What number did you transfer? 5. I knew it would be 5. For the last one, again, I know the number 5. I take that away from 12. That leaves me with 7. So, I have them count any number to the bottom. Let's make it 4 this time. 1, 2, 3, 4. I keep my back turned and I say, begin dealing cards on the table. Now remember, my key number is 7. So, as they deal, I listen. 1. Stop. As soon as I hear them taking that 7th card, I tell them to stop. I say, turn over the card you're holding. And it matches the number that they just transferred. And that's called an incomprehensible divination, and I highly recommend this effect. You can take any card that you like. Any card at all. Okay. Look at it. Don't let me see it. Show it to everybody else. You done that?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to cut packets on the table. Say stop at any time.
Stop.
Stop there?
Yes.
Put your card on top. Okay? Justin, cut the cards. Complete the cut. In fact, do it again. Cut them again. Very good. Okay, I'm going to try and find your card.
Okay.
Okay?
Is he in pain?
You will be in a moment. You know what? The next card I turn over, I'm pretty sure it's your card. In fact, I'm so sure I would bet money on it.
Can I take that bet?
Okay, 20 bucks says the next card I turn over is her card. You sure? $20? You're thinking about it. The cameras are on. Do you want to take the bet? You think you should take the bet?
No, don't take it. Don't do it. I'm not a gambling.
Not a gambling man.
Don't trust me, huh? You sure? Last chance. Yeah, I wouldn't have taken that bet either. Yeah.
Isn't fair.
Yeah, right, that's not fair. That's
That
right
was a
there.
good one.
Yeah. The circus card trick is a con game from beginning to end. It's a wonderful card trick which allows you to get one over the audience when they think they have one over you. It's a key card trick. Take a shuffled deck and note the bottom card. In this case, it'll be our key card. And have any card selected. In this case, it'll be our ace of spades. Key card undercut and have the card replaced. And drop this on top. So the key is now directly above the selection. You can do the undercut shuffle to keep those two cards together. And when you're ready to begin, Start dealing cards face up in a pile. Deal quite briskly, and also deal them in a messy way like this, so they're not in a square pile. Okay, this is important. You'll see why. Now, as I'm dealing, I'm looking for my key card. As soon as I see the key, I deal the next card. I don't stop. I deal the next card and continue dealing without missing a single beat. But I leave the selection sticking out so they can see it. And I deal about 4 or 5 cards like that. Now, I don't look at this card. I push this card over, and I check it, and I think, and I say, okay, I'll stop there. The next card I turn over will be your card. At this point, they're thinking, oh, really? You may get a free drink from this. You may even get a little bit of money, but be careful. Don't take too much, otherwise they're going to get upset. Remember, you just said the next card I turn over is going to be your card. Wait for them to react. Sometimes they'll simply say, okay. Most of the time they'll say, what would you bet? Whatever they decide, reach forward into the spread, take out their card, and turn it face down. And that's the circus card trick. You know, in the deck there's a detective card. Actually, it's the Jack of Clubs. It has another name, though. It's called Herlock Sholmes. I made this up myself.
That's why it's terribly funny.
Yeah, yes, it is. All right, let's imagine that is a detective. Okay, now that detective card goes here. I need a card selected as well, so why don't you take any card you like?
Okay.
All right. Now, once you're sure you know what the card is, okay, I'm going to have you put the card on top of the deck, like that. Now, that's the card right there, okay? What I need you to do is to take about half of these cards, or just a few, up to you, and drop them on top of her selection like that. There's no way I can know where her card is now. Take the Jack, put that on top. Yep.
This way or?
This way is fine, that's great, okay? And I put these on top as well. So we now know that the Jack is nowhere near her card. Agreed? Okay. Watch. I'm going to take the cards one at a time, like this. I'm going to keep going through until we find either your card or the Jack. So if you see your card, say stop. Okay? If you see it. See which one we come to first. Anything? No? No? Nope. Strange.
Very strange.
Strange and unusual. Ah, wait. There's the Jack. Have you seen your card yet?
No, I have not.
Now remember the two cards were far apart just a few seconds ago?
Mm-hmm.
Remember I called the Jack a detective? What was your card?
It was a 4 of diamonds.
Right beside the Jack of Clubs. Like that. Wow. Blackjack Detective is actually a version of an old con game, but it's a very good little trick. To do this, you need to remove a Jack, which you call your detective, Herlock Sholmes. Pretty funny, huh? Take that card out and shuffle the deck. Now, after the deck is shuffled, you need to glimpse the top card, which will be your key card. Look at that. It's the 4 of clubs. Now, you already know how to glimpse the top card. You can even do it as you're removing the Jack. Shuffle the cards, take the Jack out, and then simply glimpse the 4 of clubs. So long as you know what that top card is, you're ready to begin. Have any card selected. Let's take this card here, the 9 of hearts. Now, I wouldn't see that card, but I would have it replaced using the key card undercut. I undercut like this and have the card returned. The card now goes directly above the key, like so. I now have somebody take half of the remaining cards. I don't throw these on top. I have half of these taken and dropped on top of the selection. So that number of cards is dropped on top. Then, your detective card, the Jack of Clubs, is placed right there. So they now know there's a distance between the selection and your detective. Drop these on top to lose everything in the middle. Have somebody cut the deck around about the center twice. Why twice? Well, if you cut around the middle once, and then you repeat that, essentially the deck is pretty much in the same order that it began in. So we know those cards are still in roughly the same location. Now pick up the deck ready for the glide. And begin taking cards one at a time. Now what I'm looking for here is actually my key card. Okay? It's important when you take the cards out to make sure this doesn't happen too often, because you don't want that to happen when your key arrives. Just a little more pressure before sliding out the card will make that happen. Remember, I'm looking for the 4 of clubs. As soon as I see the 4 of clubs, I'm going to make a glide. It's coming up soon. There it is. Now that's the selection right there. I glide that selection and keep going, taking the second card each time until I see the Jack of Clubs. As soon as the Jack of Clubs appears, I stop. And I say, have you seen your card yet? They say no. At this point, I take the cards, squaring that card like so, into this hand, and say, you know what? Sherlock Sholmes always gets his man. Turn the cards face up to show that card was directly beside your detective, the Jack.